Hello.
Hi.
Hiya.
Yeah.
Afternoon. How is the weather out there?
In Spain, you mean?
How's the weather?
It's raining, so I'm very happy.
Really?
Finally, yeah, it was a crazy summer. Yeah, I love the rain. I should live in London or,
Oh, we can swap places if you want. We can swap places.
I would love that, really.
Thank you so much, Gabriela, for joining us here today. So I wanted to introduce the team that's here with us today. I'm Nelma, who's the founder of Nelma London, which is a digital media platform trying to promote and bring awareness to sustainable and ethical brands who are making a positive impact within our environment and also within their own communities. So we've got Marina, who is our coordinator for Europe, who you've been speaking with.
Hola, querida.
Hola, ¿qué tal, Marina?
And she's based out in Albania.
Cool.
And then we have Laura, who's here in London with us, and she's our PA and international business manager.
Hello.
And then we have,
Hi, Laura.
and then we have Sandy, who's over in Taiwan, who's our coordinator for Asia.
Cool. So we're like representative of the whole world, basically.
We're trying to be. The aim is for us to be, inclusive and diverse in our approach when we're looking at different brands, and also as well what sustainability means across all industries, not just the fashion industry, but a whole spectrum. So Marina came across your brand and was really excited to get you on here, just so that our audience can see what you've been doing in the background of creating your brand and what sustainability really means to you.
The way, how do you do your background? I love it.
Oh, I'm trying to, I wanted to go for something tropical. I wanted to go for something tropical that reminds me of like Africa, that reminds me of the, rainforest. So this is the best that I could come out with.
It's so cool. I want one of those. Is that like, do you have it at home? Or is it digital, right? Or
no.
No,
it's a digital background that you can get for Zoom. There's like different colors and formats. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Or you could even create your own one with your own logo in the background.
Okay, I didn't know. I need to check that.
Get it custom designed.
Now we can do that all, and then since it's time for Africa.
I know.
Exactly.
So Gabriela, tell us a bit more about yourself. And where you are with your brand, and for those of us that don't know where you're from as well.
Yeah. So my name is Gabriela. I am from Spain, from Madrid. And a little bit of my background in the sense of what I study. I studied in Madrid law, and then I specialized on international taxation, so nothing to do with what I'm doing now. And I ended up working in EY in Luxembourg. And there for 5 years as an international tax advisor. And then it was when I was working, I don't know if you guys know Luxembourg by any chance?
Yes.
You do? Well, I really like it. I mean, I was there and it was really cool. Like it's like a fairy tale sort of little city or a small town. And so when I was there, I asked for an unpaid leave and I went to New Zealand for 3 months. And it was there when I was working on organic farms that like everything changed sort of in my mindset, because I started to learn everything about circular economy, how the farm where I worked in, they got the water from the rain. Then how they, the hot water also came like from a pipe, which was on a special door with the sun heating, and all those that I was like, didn't even know that could exist, because I'm, from Madrid. So typical city and etc. So it was there when I really did my mindset. And when I went back to my work, I had changed. So I was a bit like obsessed with a free plastic thing, you know. I saw plastic everywhere because it's true that now they are starting to have conscious, even the big companies. So it was there when I was looking for myself, like for organic clothes. And I suddenly realized that sustainable shoes, like which were sort of feminine and elegant to go to the office, there were not a lot. At the beginning, I was like, really, because of New Zealand, I really became like plastic conscious sort of thing. So I started learning more about this issue, talking out to my colleagues about it, like, hey, you know, it's not biodegradable, it's crazy, it will last for thousands of years. Even our grandchildren will see the bottle of plastic that we have used, you know, and if it's not recycled, of course. And so it was there, and it was like little by little, step by step. It's true that right now it's the first time that I think the turning point exactly. I would not know. I would not know. I would like need to go backwards and like close my eyes. But so it was like looking for, you know, for what I tell you, like organic clothes. Suddenly I was realizing, looking like for sustainable shoes, and I only found like a few brands, but the models were like were informal, you know, they were not feminine. So I was like, okay. Then I remember, have you seen the film P.S. I Love You?
Yes.
You know, well, no, well, it's a really good film. And do you know, like for Sandy, you know, the last part when she becomes like a shoe designer?
Yeah.
Well, I was like, I don't know why that film came to my mind. I was like, okay. So maybe it was like, you know, this is very childish, but it's true that I thought of the film. I was like, okay, well, maybe. And thinking of the sustainable shoes that they were not a lot, I was like, okay, let's go for it. So it was really not thinking. It's true that I'm more like an action person. And when people ask me advices, sometimes I just say like action. If you start to think a lot about it, then no, you will never have like a perfect product. So you need to start testing it, and little by little, you know, improving it. That's what I did. Of course, I have done a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, but it's the way I am learning from it. So it was like, okay, suddenly I didn't tell anyone. That's true. I didn't tell no one really. Once I had that, I started like talking about. I only told my auntie because she had a contact of someone who produced shoes, like a shoe factory in Elda. And that was since the beginning. I knew I wanted to make my shoes in Elda. It's on the east of Spain, and it's like world known for creating luxury shoes.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, that's no way I'm gonna go abroad. I want to support all the local artisans as well, because we're losing a lot.
You mentioned the name, and that leads us nicely into, could you tell us about the name? Why did you choose it? What's the meaning?
Yeah, it was not in the sense that, you know, I did a lot. I traveled a lot to Germany when I was in Luxembourg. So I had like 2 hours drive, and, you know, that I could think about it. So it took me some time. And Momoc, in the end, I chose it because I like it. I wanted like an international sort of name. It's true that it's funny because many people say Momoc. And for me, I created for like Momoc, you know, with like the accent on the second O. And it's, if you read it backwards, it's caring for the mother of materials.
Oh.
So yeah, it's not like obvious, but it's caring for the mother of materials. That for me is the most important thing, the planet and the environment, that we put our focus on that. Yeah.
I like as well, it sounds much more glamorous in your accent. When I try and say it, it doesn't sound quite as nice, but it sounds in your accent.
How do you say it?
Momoc, it just doesn't work in English.
No, don't say that, please, because it's supposed to be like international, like sort of.
I'm trying
It has to be got an attitude. No, Momoc.
Momoc. Very French as well. Yeah, Momoc. Yeah, many people say Momoc. I'm like, okay. Well. Yeah, so that's the story about the name.
No, that's lovely.
So how about what kind of material are you using for the shoes that's sustainable?
We are actually constantly searching for new materials. So basically, one of the very well-known materials that we use is Piñatec, so the pineapple leather, which we did our summer collection with that and worked very well. And we are also, it's also good because there is a trade show in Elda in Alicante where the shoe factory is, and most of the like stands are from Spanish suppliers. And also one of my Momoc objectives is to support, you know, not only the shoe factory but local suppliers. And they are producing every time more and more like recycled materials made from cotton, polyester, post-consumer clothes, you know, so there is a lot of variety of that. And we are obsessed with recycled materials. That's because we don't want to create like more sort of rubbish, you know, in the end it will end up as rubbish. So we try to give a second chance to everything that we can. So for example, the outsole is made from recycled tires. So this is also a supplier in the north of Spain. And it's quite cool because it's super resistant, it's comfy because it's very like flexible, you know, the outsole. And also for the heel, we do recycled wood for the little heel. Then we have the high heels that there we use 100% wood.
And then the lining?
The lining we use microfiber, which is chrome-free, and it uses like nearly zero CO2 emissions. And it's very good because for it lets transpire the feet very well.
How did you come across that? Is that just through doing your own research that you thought this would be the best, you know, component or fabric that you wanted to use in terms of integrating that into?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good material, and they have done a very good marketing. So it's true that they have done such well marketing that I was like, okay, you know, it could be a win-win. And they also, you know, have helped as well because they publish our products. And it's not that easy to find like, well, you know, materials that are adapted to shoes. Because there are many materials as well. For example, there is a fruit leather, really cool. They are based on the Netherlands. I even went to see them. But it's still a bit tough. And now they are evolving and they have very good materials, but it's still like extremely expensive. So I, for example, would love to collaborate with them. And do like a collection with the fruit leather. It's also, they collect the fruit wasted from the markets, you know, and they convert it as well in leather. So that one is one. Also cactus leather, I'm already doing some examples, like tests with them, with that material. And other materials also, they had to be vegan because there are other materials. There is one which is made like from the waste milk, but milk then is not vegan. For me, the power, it's within the consumer. The consumer, and that's something, every time they buy something, they're voting for that company. And if they buy something from a fast fashion, then they're voting and they support everything it's behind. So I think it's the consumer who needs to change and start value more things. And for example, knowing that buying a t-shirt for €5 is not normal. It's really not normal. It's impossible. I mean, if you think about it and you start like, you know, going through the you know, the steps since it was created or made until how it finished on the shop, how many suppliers, all the transport, it's impossible that it's €5. So, you know, I think it's a consumer who needs to change, and we need to buy less. That's for sure. Even if I am a brand, you know, and you want, because you also need to live. And a brand, even if it's low fashion, it also has to be economically sustainable. So it's not easy, and you also need to sell to live.
Gabriela,
So it's
do you have a designer? Do you have a designer working for your brand?
I mean, I am the designer. I mean, I don't have like a background design, but it's true that right now we're also having interns and who helps us, but most of the designs I do them myself. That's the truth. For example, very nice thing that we did this for this collection. I went to give like a talk to a degree in fashion and economics or something like that. And I proposed the students to design their own models for Momoc. And they were like amazing. We had to choose like 4 and they are the ones that are published on our website. And it was, for me, it was like a lovely collaboration. Yeah, so you could see like the drawings that we also did like a post on that. You could see the drawings and how the shoe became reality, and they're very happy. Yeah.
That's amazing, because I have seen even the new one that you post on IG, and they all have varieties in colors, in patterns, but they look even so comfortable.
Yeah, that's what we try. I mean, it's true that we're obsessed with the first with sustainability, with the materials as the added value of the brand, the materials, and also with feminine shoes, but that they are comfy, because the idea is that when like a working woman, that they go out from their house and they don't know when they are coming out. So maybe they are going to work, then to an after party, then to a dinner, you know, and they don't have to go home to get changed. If not, just with going like sort of dress, but comfy at the same time, they know they can do whatever plan, and they will also be like, good, or I don't know the name in English, but you know, that they will be adequately dressed for whatever plan. So that's a bit the idea, that you know when you go out of your house, but not when you return, and you can be all the day with your shoes. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about the process, how Momoc shoes are made?
Yeah, so it's the shoes are made like in a traditional way, like any other shoe. So as I repeat, I mean, the added value of the brand is the materials. So we are working with a shoe factory. It's a family shoe factory in Elda, in Alicante, and they have 25 years of experience. So what we do is we research the materials, we buy the materials, and then we send them to the shoe factory, and it's there where they cut it, they sew it, you know, and then they make the shoe. There is a very nice video, I can also send it to you, that we record how a Momoc shoe is made, you know. So in our case, as it's all very artisan, you see there are a lot of hands, like just to make a pair of shoes. You need like the one who cuts, you know, the out part of the shoe and the lining. Then the one who sews it. I mean, of course, they use a machine. They don't do it by hand. Then also, for example, for the new collection for the velvet ones, we send it to another supplier and they make there the embroidery. So it's not an easy process, because as I said before, I mean, there are many like hands and many suppliers just to make one pair of shoes. It's a bit crazy, but we manage. Then we have the person who cuts the outsole, because that's its recycled tire. It's not like most of the in conventional shoes, you have like a prefabricated, I think it's called, and they sell you like the outsole and the heel all together, which is cool. I mean, because it's super resistant as well, but it's generally made out of plastic. Okay. So what we do is like we have the outsole gold. It's made out of recycled tire, and it produces it a different supplier, and the recycled wood a different one. And then in the shoe factory they put it together. So yeah, it's not an easy process. Like from conventional shoes, it's a bit more complicated.
I love the idea of how you are packaging Momoc shoes. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. I mean, the packaging, I love that you asked this question, because when we started with Momoc, we also we just not only wanted like sustainable shoes, but that the whole process and the packaging was of course sustainable. So as I'm obsessed with free plastic, of course it doesn't have any plastic. And what we do is we design a box pack sort of thing, which is made, I don't have, well, later, if not, I can get you I have some at home. So it's made of organic cotton or upcycled cotton. Then we put in the inside a recycled cardboard to protect the shoes, and then the shoes, they are wrapped in recycled paper. And all that, it's then put in a recycled paper bag and then sent to the final client.
Wow.
So we really not use any plastic because of this obsession of free plastic.
At the beginning, I mean, earlier you mentioned that you have made a lot of mistakes throughout the journey. So what was the most difficult thing to you in terms of running a business or a design?
I mean, I'm on the business, so I don't have any like partner. Now I have a girl working on the social networks, which is great. And so just building or creating a company on your own, it's just already very difficult. Because, you know, it's true that I always say Momoc has been created thanks to the advice a lot of people has given me. So I love to, you know, little mouth, big ears. So I always ask for advice, not advice, just like the thoughts, always ask for constructive feedback a lot. And thanks to that, you know, I have been improving. So it's true that even if I am on my own, there are a lot of people, and it's great because people love giving advices and for free. So I'm like, okay, great. Just give me all your opinions. And thanks to that, you know, I have changed, and even the website, I send it to a lot of people. Everyone gave me their feedback, and thanks to that, I have been changing it. But if I have to choose, one of my like biggest mistakes was like, I am, as I said before, I'm an action person. And now I have developed patience, but before I didn't have a lot. So when I started with Momoc, I was like, I want it now. I wanted like to go to the market, like no. And that was one of my big mistakes, because my first showroom that I did in Madrid, it was like family, friends, but the shoes were not the best that they could have been. And this I should have, you know, take more time, even test it more. So I did it like everything. Yeah, I had already produced the shoes, but then I gave it to some people so they could test it them, but the shoes were produced. So for me, I say that I started like, there is this expression in Spanish that you started the house from the roof. So it's not very good. Now I have learned. Now I take my time. So any new product that I take out to the market, I don't mind if it takes me 1 year.
So speaking of future, what's the plan you have for Momoc in the future, or what would you like to achieve?
I mean, we want to grow. So yeah, that's one of in terms of volume. The way that we have it now, again, I repeat, I think it's super efficiently in the way of the marketplaces, because the marketplaces, they work from your stock. So we work via drop shipping, and they do the marketing on their respective countries, and you only pay on commission. So it's great. I mean, that's the future. That's of course the future. I would also love right now to be like, to have more presence in the US and in Japan. So we're working on that as well. So for the moment is a lot of online e-commerce, improve our website, maybe like to make it even faster, maybe even like put more languages, like translations, and grow, have more presence on the EU, I mean European also, of course, England, but all the European countries and the US, and of course having some boutiques, you know, maybe selling to some boutiques, but I am firmly believer of the online. So I'm actually, because of the COVID, there are many Spanish shops, you know, the typical small shops from towns that they had closed, or most of them have developed an online shop. First, I would say sustainability. Like for me, sustainability is the most important thing. Also, to tell consumers that sustainable and vegan is not the same. So the example that I always put is a shoe made out of 100% plastic. It's vegan, but it's not sustainable. So for me, the most important thing is the sustainability, because, and we can see it right now, and I guess all the consumers can see when they walk on the countryside. It's crazy, but it's full of rubbish. So first of all, before buying, I would tell consumers really to think what or to, how do you say, to help them, not help them, but to motivate them to create like a sustainable action every day. So really you go to like a bulk shop, you know, where you can bring your own tuppers and stuff and just fill them in. So that to carry first is sustainable life, like to try to at least sustainable.